Thank you. Holy moly, your monologue was spot on. I traveled here with two friends who are here for the very first time. We had a delightful discussion last night about how they're frustrated because they've launched these rockets of desire and it's not manifesting yet. And so I was trying to tell them to be patient, enjoy the ride, it'll happen, get in the receptive mode.
Before you go further, we want to say something to you. We really like the way that your conversation unfolded here. It's not manifesting yet. Those were your words. And we want to just remind you that manifesting means you're translating it from a vibration into something that is tangible. So rather than saying it's not manifesting yet, it's better if you say, I'm not in the mode where I can see it coming. And the reason you can't see it coming is because you're looking through beliefs that blind you. And even though there is evidence of its coming, in other words, if you were on the highway and you were going somewhere, let's say you're going to drive 1,000 miles from here to there, and most of the time during this journey you're not there. But you're also not discouraged because you can witness yourself getting closer. And that's what we want you to begin to understand about this manifesting business. We want you to witness yourself getting closer so that you realize that you're closing in on it. It's getting closer and closer and closer to that full manifestation where you can use your eyes and ears and so forth to completely acknowledge its existence. And so it hasn't manifested yet is never true. But what is true is I'm blind to its obvious unfolding because I'm on a vibrational wavelength that keeps me from recognizing it. And because I'm a stubborn human, I want to see the full, see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it version of it before I will even admit I'm on the way to it. And that's what we wish for you to stop doing. When your dog can hear things that you can't hear, do you say, stop it, you little faker? Or do you acknowledge that your dog really can hear something you can't hear? And so we're not here to sharpen your hearing. We're here to sharpen your awareness of. But it takes a little bit of understanding of how the laws of the universe work. You have to begin to use another sense. Rather than seeing it or hearing it or smelling it or tasting it or touching it, we want you to sense it. We want you to sense that it is there. We want you to sense its existence. And as you sense it, which in the beginning might just be hoping for it, which is a whole lot better than doubting it, pretty soon it will get big enough that you'll be on the trail of it. Esther remembers watching this magnificent dog. Oh, such a hound dog. And his parents threw an object, it was a football, off into some very dense woods. And this man had a strong arm and he threw it far and fast into very dense trees and bushes and underbrush. And Esther thought, that dog will never ever find that. And it was right back with it. It was right back with it. It didn't have to see it. It could sense it. It used its nose, but you have a sensor too.
It's interesting because my friends, and I love them dearly, Nora's going to be a published author someday, but she's frustrated because the book isn't published yet. And Lou is going to be a financial planner, and she's just frustrated because the money's not flowing yet. And I try to tell them, be patient, it's coming, it's coming. I kind of have the opposite.
Before you go further, you're really good at setting these up. Before you go further, we don't want anyone to have patience, because if you need patience, that means tolerating being not in the receptive mode. I've asked for it and it is given, but I'm not letting it in. And since I'm not letting it in, I have to learn to be patient about not letting it in. And we say, why be patient about not letting it in? Why not let it in? And you say, because we can't see it. And we say, well, just look a little more. Look more carefully for it.
We talked about the corn growing analogy, and you've mentioned it before. You plant the seed and you don't stand over it and say, where's my corn? You have to be patient to allow that to
But
manifest
wait,
and eventually
are
work.
you patient or are you knowledgeable? Is that patience or is that knowledgeable?
Just knowing that it's going to take some time to
You
grow.
know, you're not stupid. You know that it's going to take more than now. You're not just standing there. I'm waiting for you. Oh, there's a hole in Esther's sock. I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. I'm waiting for you. No, you get on with other things. You do other things that are important to you. You're not just standing there learning to develop patience. You're getting on with life. Patience is not a positive emotion. Patience is putting up with something that doesn't feel good. And if you're working hard to develop patience, then you're sort of working in the wrong direction. We don't want you to be patient. We want you to be optimistic, and we want you to be eager, and we want you to feel good. But sometimes you want to focus upon things that are already here rather than standing in a yearning stance waiting for something that isn't here to get here. Or you want to sense its existence even before you can see it and hear it and smell it and taste it and touch it. And that's not patience. That's acknowledgement. That's knowledge.
Very good.
That's
Now,
awareness.
let me ask you this. I've actually gotten pretty good at allowing things. Ask it and is given, whatever. So I allow. Things come very easily to me. What I'd like you to do is write a book about the art of sticking around. Because I have a little bit more trouble with, let's take money, for example. I attract all kinds of money.
Say more about what you mean about sticking around.
Well, as I say, I make a lot of money. I attract it. It flows into my experience abundantly. And then it also leaves my experience abundantly.
That's what it's for. Air doesn't stick around either.
Well, I'd like it to stick around a little bit so I can do something with it. We want the air to stick around so we can breathe it for a moment.
But what about the air that's sticking around inside of you? You want it to stick around? Or in and out, in and out,
Okay.
in and out, in and out.
I've thought
in
of
and
that.
out,
I've thought
in
of
and
that.
out,
But
in and
then
out.
I also think, wow, there's a lot of momentum with it going out and going out and going out, and
No.
not me being able to do the things that I want to do.
It can't go out faster than it comes in. Well, it can up to your credit limit, but that's really limiting. In and out, in and out, in and out. And if you're taking pleasure in the out, then you'll take pleasure in the in. In and out.
I do, but I talk with my co-creative circle about this, and it almost gets to the point where I feel I self-sabotage.
How so?
Because I will amass, like in the last 6 months, $1 million, and invested it, and it went poof. I lost it all.
But what you didn't lose is your ability to manifest another.
That's true. That's what I say. I manifest.
That air's gone too. Is there more?
They're just things that I specifically would like to have done differently with that money than I did.
Well, that'll get you every time.
How?
Because when you feel regret, you're not in the receiving mode.
And then I beat myself up about it. What is that?
And when you
That
beat
step
yourself
5?
up, you're not in the
Not get
receiving
into
mode.
step 1
You're
again?
not in the receiving mode. It's like breathing it in, breathing it out, and then holding your breath. I had air. I squandered it. I regret having let that air out because now it's gone. I refuse to let any more in because I'm so ashamed that I let it out. It isn't different. It isn't different except that you have flawed premises, almost everybody does, about how it comes to you, because it's hard for you to accept that it is as simple as asking for it and then allowing it, and then it comes. And the way you've come to allow it is you sacrifice and you work hard. This is the way you justify your allowing. But then there's limits on how much you can let in, because there are limits about how much time you have or how much whatever belief you have in whatever. And so you don't let it flow in the way that it could naturally. One of the things that you're overlooking, and we want to remind you about it right now, is that in that process of living and asking and allowing, you developed a vibrational currency that is always there with you, because you can't go back. There's no going back. There's no regression. there's only life causing you to continue to ask, and then to whatever degree you allow what you've asked for to come. But once you've learned, or once you have allowed something to come to you, you are vibrationally changed, and you can never go back from that. And so your vibrational currency, or your ability to allow, once you've allowed it, you're there, and you'll keep moving forward into more and more and more and more and more of that. But when you stop to take score and to make statements such as, I let it go and now it's gone and I don't know when it can come back or how it will come back, that attention to that absence of what you want holds you in a vibrational stance that doesn't let it come back, not right now, while you're holding your breath. As soon as you forget, or as soon as you sleep, as soon as you stop holding your breath, in other words, have you ever had a child, or has it ever been you? Have you ever decided that you would just, have you ever seen anybody hold their breath to get what they want? Well, you can just walk away. It's going to be all right. You can just walk away, because they're going to pass out and then they're going to start breathing again. You can throw all the fits you want about what's not coming, but eventually you have to sleep. And when you sleep, your negative momentum will subside. And when you wake up, you've got a chance of not picking it up and starting it again, unless you have these beliefs that cause you to continue to reactivate that.
But see, here's my question then. I actually don't have resistance to allowing things in. I launch these rockets of desire. Things manifest, they come into my experience.
And what are we talking about here?
Because
Were you
here's
making
my
all that
question,
stuff up?
because does then my vibration change for my desire, because once it's manifested, it's no longer important to me, and then it changes, and then it's
Flawed
going,
premise.
oh, that was good, and then it
Flawed
went.
premise. You know the answer to that. Do you still want it or not?
Well, because I want a different answer.
The answer you want is, you're doing it perfectly. Just keep doing it that way, and it will turn out just the way you want it. That's not the answer that we want to give you. That's the answer you want to hear. The answer that we want to give you is, you can't get there from there. You cannot continue to focus upon the absence of something that you want and let it in. Because the presence of what you want and the absence of what you want are two very different frequencies. So you've got to decide, which one are you going to focus on? And most humans say, well, I'm going to be a realist. I'm going to focus on reality. And the reality of it is that it's not here, and that's where I'm going to focus. And we say, then you'll continue to hold what you want away from you. And that's why we want to get your attention upon this vibrational reality, the corn in the ground. We want you to know about that, so that you'll at least stop saying it isn't here and begin saying it's on the way. You could even say, I can't see it yet. I just trust it's on the way. I don't know where it's going to come from, or when it's going to get here, or who's going to bring it, or how it's going to come. But I do know what it is and why I want it, and I do believe that it is coming. And if that was the only philosophy you held, everything that you would ever want would come seamlessly and streamingly and relatively quickly into your experience. But most of you, we love you so much, you are too smart. You know too much. You take score of so many things. And you know what's holding you up more than everything else put together is your attention to what is manifested. We want you to give your attention to what is created and what is vibrational and what is coming. You want to focus on what is manifested. And we want to draw to your attention that everything starts in this vibrational ethers, and then becomes a thought, and then becomes an idea that's a stronger thought, and then becomes a rendezvous, and then becomes things. And so this turning thoughts to things is what you came here about. That's why you are here in these physical bodies. You're here as manifestors in this leading edge, time and place. So as these manifestations are in the process of becoming, when you tune yourself to the subtleties of the vibration, then you get to witness the unfolding of them. You get to notice the things that are happening. You begin to notice the good timing that is unfolding. You can have such a good time with all of that. And then when it manifests, as it must, then there's that excitement of getting to witness it with all of your physical senses too. But if you need to see it, if it has to already be, that's like saying, oh yeah, I'll go on vacation with you, provided we can just be there, because I don't want to have to go there. Don't make me go.